Hi friends, today we are going to see parotid gland. So parotid gland we will cover in this following heading. First of all the introduction, after that boundaries, extend, capsule, external features, what are the relations, structure, piercing within the parotid gland, parotid duct, nerve supply, lymphatic and the vascular supply. We will cover one by one. But before going on the proper topic parotid gland, we have to understand parotid region and the principal structure which are present in the parotid region. That is the very important thing. So this is one diagram. So first of all we have to know the parotid region. So what is the boundary of the parotid region? So parotid region, boundary of the parotid region, can you see this? This is the zygomatic arch. This is the zygomatic arch. This blue color, whatever I show in the blue color, that is the parotid gland. Parotid gland. Here this red color is the masseter muscles, and this is the sternocleidomastoid muscles. And this part, this is the mastoid process. So what is the boundary of the parotid region? First of all, we have to know. And what are the principal structure? That is the one is the parotid gland and second is the facial nerve. See here, one branch, second, third, fourth, fifth. This all are branches of the facial nerve, and this structure is the parotid gland. So principal structure which are present in the parotid region, that is the first is the parotid gland and second is the facial nerve. So what is the boundary? From anterior border of the masseter muscles. So anterior border of masseter, posteriorly, here is the mastoid process. So posteriorly mastoid process, and superiorly by zygomatic arch. Superiorly by zygomatic arch. Yes. So these are the boundaries, and the inferiorly. This is the parotid gland. So somewhat here, and this is the angle of the parotid gland. So angle of the parotid gland is somewhat here. So one line joining angle of the parotid gland with the mastoid process, that is the inferiorly, and the principal structures are parotid gland and the facial nerve. So this is the parotid region. We are reading now. We are going to read parotid gland, that is situated in the parotid region. Okay, and these are the boundaries of the parotid region. Now we have to know about parotid gland. So parotid gland, the location of the parotid gland is present into the parotid bed, that is the retromandibular fossa, posterior to the ramus of the mandible. Here is the ramus of the mandible. Posterior to the ramus of the mandible, that is called retromandibular fossa, right? And that is the parotid bed. So what is the boundary of the parotid bed? See here. What is the boundary of the parotid bed? Parotid gland present into the parotid bed. So boundary of the parotid bed. First thing, anteriorly, this is the ramus of the mandible. Okay, so posterior aspect of the, or posterior border of the ramus of the mandible. So posterior border of ramus of mandible, and posteriorly, that is the mastoid process, MP, mastoid process, and superiorly external acoustic meatus, and medially by stelloid process. So this is the boundary of the parotid bed, and this parotid gland is situated into this parotid bed only. Now some things about parotid gland, like what is the weight of the parotid gland? Okay, so it's just 25 gram. Weight of the parotid gland is 25 gram. It is yellowish in the color, right? So yellowish in the color, and second thing, it is a cirrus in the nature. Cirrus. serious in the nature. These all things we have to remember, right? And location already I told, it is present into the parotid bed, and these all are the boundaries. Now we have, this is the boundaries we covered. Now extend. Parotid gland is too soft. Okay, because of this reason, this parotid gland not only present into the parotid bed, it also extend beyond it. Okay, so it extend. So now we are going to see the extent of the parotid gland. So extend anteriorly up to the anterior border of the mesoter. Okay, so anteriorly up to the anterior border of mesoter. Am I right? Yes. And superiorly, this is the superiorly only, you can tell, not superiorly, above. Okay, so above external acoustic meatus, and below, here is below, this is the digastric muscles. And you know, can you tell me digastric muscles? If digastric muscles is here, then which triangle? So this is the digastric triangle, and this is what? Carotid triangle. Okay, superiorly carotid triangle, boundary of the carotid triangle, superiorly by the digastric muscles. Am I right? So upper part of the, so below, upper part of carotid triangle, and medially by stelloid process. So medially by stelloid process, SP. Right. This is the extent of the parotid gland. Parotid gland is too soft. Okay, because of that reason, this is only extending beyond the parotid bed. So these are the extension of extent of the parotid gland. Now we have to move on the capsule of the parotid gland. The capsule of the parotid gland already I explained in the previous video. Already I explained. Okay, in some mandibular gland. Okay, and now also I am telling, investing layer of deep cervical fascia is split into two regions. Okay, this investing layer of deep cervical fascia is split in the region between the angle of the mastoid and the angle of the mandible and the mastoid. This here is somewhat, here is the angle of the mandible and the mastoid. It is split into two parts. First is the superficial lamina, and second is the deep lamina. So deep lamina is the very thin, superficial lamina is the thick, and it attached to the zygomatic arch. Here is somewhat zygomatic arch. This is what parotid gland. So it's come from here, and it's dividing into two parts, and it's superficial lamina. It's going and attached to the this zygomatic arch, and this is the deep lamina of the parotid fascia. Okay, it will attach to the stelloid process and the tympanic plate, and this is the submandibular ligament. Submandibular ligament is only one which separate this parotid gland from the submandibular gland. In submandibular gland, when I taught you, I already explained this. Submandibular ligament is only one who separate this parotid gland from the submandibular gland. So this is the capsule of the parotid gland. Now we have to move on the external features, right? So I want to rough this external features. Now this parotid gland has one apex, one base, three surface, and three border. How you have to remember and see here. And so parotid gland is here. It is somewhat like this only, no? This is somewhat like this. Okay, you remember in the cross section like this. This is the parotid gland. This is the horizontal section. Now this is the anterior border. Anterior border. Here is the posterior border. Posterior border, and this is what? Medial border. So now you tell me, this surface is like this only. Parotid gland is like this only, no? So this surface is what? Superficial surface. So this is superficial surface, and this surface between anterior border and the medial border. So this surface is the anteromedial surface. Yes, anteromedial surface. This is the anteromedial surface, and this between posterior border and the medial border, posteromedial surface. Posteromedial surface. So three surfaces. When you will see in the book, there may be four surfaces. That base of the parotid gland, in some book it considered as a superior surface. Okay, so it's like this is the capsule, and I'm going to rough this. So parotid gland. Parotid gland is somewhat like this. So this part is called apex. This part you can tell base or superior surface. So if you are not considered base, then it is four surface. One is superior surface, one is the superficial surface, and one is the anteromedial surface, and second is the last one is the posteromedial surface. Three border: anterior border, medial border, and the posterior border. And this is the position of, this is the exact structure of the parotid gland. And what is this? This is the parotid duct. Okay, we will discuss in this lecture later. Okay, now this is all are the external features. Now we have to move on the relation. The relation of the parotid gland is very important. So the relation of the parotid gland. This apex is directed. It's like a local. Direction of the apex is what? Downwards, and the base is the upward. Okay, it's like apex like structure. Okay, that you can write. Now, relation of the parotid gland. That is the very important thing. Relation of the parotid gland. See here, parotid gland is somewhat like this only. This is the parotid gland. So now we have to. This is the posterior border. And this is the anterior border. So in anterior border, what happening? One is artery. This is artery. Transverse facial artery. So before transverse facial artery, I am showing all the veins in this green color, right? So one is now here, second now is here, third is here, fourth is here, and fifth is this is the fifth is one is here, right? One is here. So what is this one? This all are the terminal branches of the facial nerve. So this is what? Superficial temporal nerve. So I am writing superficial temporal nerve. Am I right? This is transverse facial artery. Transverse facial artery. This is what? This is the zygomatic branch. And this is what? Buccal branch. And this is what? Mandibular branch. And this is what? Cervical branch. This is the cervical branch. So I am writing here. This is the cervical branch. Now, this is the transverse facial artery. In the posterior border, you have to remember vein. Posterior border, here this is the posterior border. So vein, V-A-N, vein in the posterior border. So first of all, the vein. So I am denoting vein is here. This is the vein. After that, artery. So artery is here. This is the artery. and after that now. So now is here. These all are posterior auricular branch, posterior auricular vessels and the nerve. These all are posterior auricular vessels and nerve. Now these all are the relation of the anterior border. This all are the posterior. This all are the relation of the posterior border. So now here, what we have to write? Here is vein, and here is just opposite. First of all, nerve. So here is, this is the nerve. Second is the artery. So this is the artery. What is the name of this artery? It's going in the temporal region. So superficial temporal artery. Am I right? And third is the vein. Superficial temporal vein. Here is superficial temporal. Now, but superficial temporal vein is the here. This is not superficial temporal vein. Am I right? Yes. So what is this? This is auricular. This is what? Auriculotemporal. Auriculotemporal nerve. This you remember. Auriculotemporal nerve. This is the auriculotemporal nerve. You should not write superficial temporal nerve. Oh, that is here, right? So this will have. And one thing is the here. One thing is here. This is what? It will come like this and it will go like this. What is this? This is the retromandibular vein, right? So this is the retromandibular vein. Okay, I will show it again. If it is not visible, I will show it. This is the retromandibular vein, anterior division and the posterior division, right? So now we have to discuss about a relation. First of all, what all are the relation of the anterior border? Superficial temporal nerve, temporal. This is a transverse facial artery, zygomatic branch. This is buccal. There is two buccal branches, upper buccal and the lower buccal, and after that common buccal branch. And this is the mandibular branch. Okay, so mandibular branch of the facial nerve. Okay, so these all are the facial nerve, and these are all are the relation of the anterior border over posterior border. So posterior auricular vessels and the nerve over. Now this is what? This is what? This all part is what? You can tell base or the superior surface. Yes, so what is the relation of the superior surface? That is the auriculotemporal nerve, superficial auriculotemporal nerve, and the superficial temporal nerve and the superficial temporal vein. Am I right? So these three, and superficial temporal nerve, that is in the relation in the anterior border, right? So this all are the relation of this. Now this is the posterior, this all, and this. So now tell me the posteromedial. This is the posteromedial, and all we all discuss about border. Now superficial surface. What is the relation of the superficial surface? It is like this. So what? Skin. Superficial fascia, deep fascia of the parotid gland. That is the relation of the superficial surface. Now what is the relation of the anterior anteromedial surface, and what are the relation of the posteromedial surface? Okay, so see here. See here. This is the this is the anteromedial surface. Can you see? You just imagine this. Your hand is the parotid gland, right? So this is the superficial surface, and this is the medial. So medial. Since this is the anterior, so anteromedial, and this is the posterior, so posteromedial. So now it is like this only. So this masseter muscles. Okay, I am writing in the relation of the anteromedial. Anteromedial surface. What can be relation? This is what? Masseter. This is what? Masseter muscles. Am I right? Masseter muscles. And after that, medial pterygoid. This is like this. Okay, posterior to the ramus of the mandible. So we know the what are the muscles related to the ramus of the mandible, and that is in the medial side. One is the masseter, and second is the medial pterygoid muscles. Am I right? So these are the relation of the posteromedial surface. Now relation of the these are the relation of the anteromedial, and now we have to see the posteromedial. Okay, So relation for the posteromedial. Tell me the relation of the posteromedial. Here is, oh, so sternocleidomastoid muscles, yes, and mastoid process. So the relation mastoid process, second. So mastoid process and second is the sternocleidomastoid muscles. We know attachment of the muscles attachment of the mastoid process. Two muscles. One is the sternocleidomastoid. So we have to write here sternocleidomastoid. And second is the posterior belly of the digastric. See here. This is the posterior belly of the digastric. So here we have to write posterior belly of digastric. Right? And one more thing, that is what? Stelloid process. One more thing, that is the stelloid process. Stelloid process and its muscles attachment. One thing you should remember, this stelloid process and muscles related to this, okay, these are separating this parotid gland from internal carotid artery, internal jugular vein, and the last four cranial nerves. Okay, so this stelloid process and muscles attachment to the it separates this parotid gland from internal jugular vein and internal carotid artery and the last four cranial nerve. So these all are the relation of the anterior and anteromedial and the posteromedial and the superficial surface. And what is the relation of the superior surface? That is here. Am I right? Yes. And what is the relation of the apex? What is the relation of the apex? Tell me the relation of the apex. It's very easy, relation of the apex. Why? Because apex is here, right? And what is here? Cervical branch. Cervical branch of the facial nerve, and second is the retromandibular vein. Right? So these two are relation of the this apex. Okay, so all the this all about relation of the parotid gland. Now what we have to see in next is structure piercing the parotid gland. Can you tell me the structure piercing the parotid gland? There is only three structure. First is the facial nerve. See here. These all are branches. Okay, so first is the facial nerve. Second thing is the external carotid artery. And third thing is, can you tell me the third thing? And that third thing is retromandibular vein. So parotid gland, and now we are seeing the structure piercing the parotid gland. Three structure only: facial nerve, second external carotid artery, and third retromandibular vein. Right? So this all are this is the structure. Now simple thing is this is the what? This is the parotid gland, right? Suppose this is your parotid gland. So now first is the facial nerve. Facial nerve I am showing in this grey color. Here is facial nerve. So it will go like this. First, second branch is here. Third, this is the buccal. Fourth is this is the mandibular, and this is the what? Cervical, right? 1, 2, and this is common. 3, 4, and 5th. This all are the structure piercing. First is the facial nerve. Second is the external carotid artery. See here, external carotid artery. External carotid artery. I am telling you, external carotid artery. See here. This is the parotid gland. External carotid artery. This is the external carotid artery. This is what? This is the superior temporal artery. And here is what? Transverse facial artery. And here is what? Maxillary artery. Right? And this is the external carotid artery. So it is also piercing. And last one, that is the retromandibular vein. So retromandibular vein, you have to know about retromandibular vein. I am showing here. This is the retromandibular vein. And superiorly, from above, it is what? Superficial temporal vein. So from here, transverse facial vein. And here is what? This is what? This is the maxillary vein, and it's from what? This is the retromandibular vein. So retromandibular vein. So retromandibular vein is like something like this, and it has two divisions. This is the posterior division. This is the posterior division, and this is the anterior division. Now, for posterior division, one vein, posterior auricular vein. So, in the posterior division, one vein that is called posterior auricular vein. This joins the posterior division of the retromandibular vein and the form what? Now, what is this? This is the external. This is the external jugular vein, and this is what? Posterior auricular vein, and this is anterior division. So here facial vein. This is the facial vein join the anterior division of the retromandibular vein and the form what? Now what is this? This is the common facial vein. So this external jugular vein drain into tributaries of internal jugular vein. So these all are the structure piercing the parotid gland. Only three: facial nerve, external carotid artery, and the retromandibular vein. That's all. And one now we have to move on the blood supply. Tell me the blood supply. This is only external carotid artery. This is what? External carotid artery. External carotid artery and superficial temporal artery. And what is the venous drainage? Sam, what is the venous drainage? See here, retromandibular vein. Am I right? So retromandibular vein. So what is the nerve supply of this parotid gland? Already we covered. That is the aortic ganglion. Okay, we have discussed in the last video. That is the aortic ganglion. So that glossopharyngeal nerve. Okay, and mega is middle meningeal artery. Okay, everything we have read there. Okay, so the nerve supply has been over, and blood supply, nerve supply, and the lymphatics. So here is the salivary gland. Okay, so lymphatic from the salivary glands ultimate it's drain into the cervical lymph node, right? There is parotid lymph node is there is also lymph node. Okay, it will drain into that, and after that it will drain into the cervical lymph node, right? So these all are the parotid gland. Nerve supply has been over, and what is the clinical aspect? Tell me the clinical aspect. Oh, one thing that is the parotid duct. Okay, that I have to cover. I will cover. See, parotid aspect, that is the mumps. Right? What is the mumps? Viral infection in the parotid gland. That is the mumps, right? And the swelling in the parotid gland. Okay, it's very painful. Why? Because parotid gland is covered by parotid sheath. Okay, so whenever there is swelling, okay, that capsule will stretch. Okay, due to that only this paining occurs in the swelling of the parotid gland. So these are the clinical and also what tumors, right? Tumors, so mixed type of tumor, that adenomorphic. Okay, you will read in the pathology. So this is also okay. Now last thing we have to cover, that is the parotid duct. It's a very important thing, parotid duct. So parotid duct, that is parotid duct. See here, parotid duct, that is called what? Stenson's duct. Now this is the parotid gland. Ducts from here. This is the duct, and here is Mesenteral muscles is also here. This is the mesenteral muscles, right? Up to the anterior border. Up to mesenteral. One thing you have to remember in the parotid duct, it will take 3 turns, right? So 3 turn, 3 turn, or you can tell bend. Okay, that every is 90 degree. So first of all, it will run forwards. First of all, it runs forwards between the, from here, what? One buccal branch and second is here. So upper buccal and the it runs between the upper buccal and the lower buccal branch of the facial nerve, and up to the anterior border of the mesenteral. Am I right? So now what we have to, after that it will take upward. So here is 90, like this. So this is the 90 degree angle, right? And it pierces the, now it's very important things, okay? It pierces the, what, this buccal pad of fat. This is what? Buccal pad of fat. Second thing, buccopharyngeal fascia. This fascia is called buccopharyngeal fascia. Buccopharyngeal fascia, right? And third thing is what? Buccinator muscles. So this is the buccinator. Buccinator is somewhat here. This is the buccinator muscles, right? So now it runs forwards. After that it runs inwards, and again it runs forwards. So again it's 90 degree angle, and again it will take 90 degree angle, and it runs medially, right? So here is the mucous membrane. Here is the mucous membrane, and it pierces the mucous membrane and drain into the, as not drain, it's open into the just opposite to the second molar teeth, okay, in upper side, okay. So this is the parotid duct. You have to remember only one thing, it's like this and this, okay. So 3 times 90 degree angle. See here, 90 degree angle. So 3 bend, okay. And structure piercing, okay. Examiner can ask in your MCQ, they may be asked, okay, structure piercing the structure piercing by the parotid duct, that is the what? B3. What is B3? B cube. This is the buccal pad of fat. Second is the buccopharyngeal, and third is the, this is what? Buccinator muscles, right? So this is all are the, and you tell why it's like this. This is like this only, no? Why it's like this? Because when to prevent inflammations, to prevent inflammations during the excessive blowing, like this, okay. When we will blow, okay, if there is not a course like this, so parotid gland will enlarge, okay. So this is all about parotid duct, okay. So prevent this inflammations. This is course is like this tortoise like course, right? Tortoise like course, okay. So this is all about parotid gland. Clinical aspect already we have covered, and one syndrome, okay, that is the Fraze syndrome, like that. See here one syndrome that is called Fraze syndrome. What is that Fraze syndrome? It is a syndrome of auriculotemporal nerve, right? Auriculotemporal nerve and the great auricular nerve. So it is a syndrome of auriculotemporal nerve and great auricular nerve. What happening in during any wound, okay, this nerve will be damaged, and we know auriculotemporal nerve is supplying secretomotor, sensory and the motor supply to the parotid gland. When it's cut, okay, and again the regenerating time, this auriculotemporal nerve fibers regenerate in the endoneural fascia, right? So, and that is supply the cutaneous for the pain receptors, right? For temperature receptors, okay. So one thing is this, and the second is that this great auricular nerve. It also regenerate and supplying to the sweat gland, right? So whenever a patient is a patient with French syndromes, that is like whenever he is when patient eat, okay, there is excessive sweatings on the ipsilateral that affected cheek side, right, and very hot. And whenever a patient is shave, right, so on near ear there is very hotness. That is the French syndrome. And one thing I forgot to tell you, that is the uh, plan, right? In the clinical aspect also you can write. See, this is the parotid gland. Parotid gland has two lobes. One is the superficial lobe and second is the deep lobe. Am I right? And this is what? This is the isthmus. What happening? This is the nerve, facial nerve, branches of the facial nerve. Okay, cross this isthmus and move forwards. Okay, so area between the area or plan between the superficial and the deep part of the deep part or deep lobe of the this parotid gland. Okay, that is called the patches plan, right? So it is so it helps to surgeon to remove the parotid tumor without damaging the this nerve and the veins. Okay, those lie in this region. Okay, so this is the patchy plan. Okay, so I think I hope I covered all the things of the parotid gland. Okay, so thank you.